Hey everybody, and welcome back. Retirement has a lot of benefits, right? Things like not having to get up each morning to an alarm clock, not having to wear work-related clothes, not having to deal with the commute each day or being stuck in traffic. There's no more work-related stress or Sunday night anxiety. And then, of course, there's things like travel. You can take a trip anytime that you want to. You can go on extended travel or do whatever you want. And I've covered all of these kind of topics in previous videos, but today I'd like to share with you the single most beneficial thing about retirement to me. For me personally, what I love the most, the thing that makes my life better every single day, is the personal freedom that I now have. It's priceless, and there's nothing like it. Furthermore, this newfound freedom affects me in three key areas of my life that I want to share with you. But first, I'm Ronnie. Thanks for stopping by. This channel is dedicated to living a resilient life, and my message is simple. The best investment that you can make is in yourself. So here's three key areas where my newfound freedom affects me the most. Number one, this newfound freedom means that I now have complete autonomy over my life. In other words, I don't have to answer to anyone any longer. After 45 years of being compelled by a schedule that someone else decided for me, I am now the owner of my schedule. And this means I don't have to worry about getting up at 5 a.m., showing up by 7 a.m., getting off at 5 p.m., having to work weekends, and or having my schedule changed on the whim of a manager or a supervisor. When you retire, you become the owner of your schedule. Not someone else, but you. You own it because you now have autonomy, which means you have control over your life and you get to decide how you'll spend your own time. Now, most importantly for me, now that I have autonomy, it means that I no longer have to miss family events because of work. I don't have to cut family events short in the name of the company anymore. And let's be honest, for some of us, there's nothing greater than family, and I happen to be one of them. When I was working, I was on call most of the time. I could make plans for myself and my family. I could be off doing anything that I wanted to do, and a single phone call could come in and change everything and mess up my plans. And then, of course, with the invention of the cell phone, it's now like having an electronic ball and chain that you can never get away from or escape even if you go out of town. I could be on vacation with my family, and a phone call come in, and I could be on the phone all afternoon trying to resolve a problem here back at home. Or if I couldn't get the problem resolved, I would have to cut my vacation short, which affected my family, not just me, but my family as well. But now that I am retired, and this freedom that makes my life better every day, which has given me autonomy, it now means I never have to miss anniversaries, weddings, birthdays, ball games, recitals, dances, holiday gatherings, or any of those things because of work-related commitments. After a lifetime of deadlines and interrupted vacations and missing out on family events, I am free from those kind of constraints imposed upon me by someone else. And you know what? This is absolutely priceless. Being free is better than the amount of money that I have. Being free is better than continuing to work to save up $1 million. It's priceless to be free. If you're not yet retired, I want you to know this is what's waiting for you on the other side. You're going to be free, and it's worth it to pull the trigger. Number two, this newfound freedom also means that I get to stay home every single day and get out only whenever I choose to. Now myself, I don't like being on the go all the time. I like staying home most of the time. Home is my happy place. I prefer to be here most of the time and get out only whenever I choose to. Now, for those of you who are still working and you haven't retired yet, I got a question for you. Do you ever wake up one day during the middle of the week, it's a work day, have you ever woke up in the morning and thought to yourself, man, I would just like to stay home today? That's what I'm talking about. That feeling right there. When you wake up and say, I would just like to stay home today. That feeling right there is a constant 24/7 whenever you're retired. Whenever I wake up in the morning, I can just stay home. I can stay home and do whatever. I can get out whenever I choose to, not when someone else tells me to. When I wake up in the mornings now, I just get to stay home. I don't have to call in. I don't have to use a sick day. And I don't have to ask somebody else's permission to stay in my own home. My days are mine and my life is mine. As I often like to say, I am now the master of my own uncomplicated life. After all that I have done over my working years and all the places that I've been and the things that I've seen, being at home in a quiet environment is still one of my most favorite things in life. Furthermore, being at home helps me avoid other people's drama. I've had enough drama to last me a lifetime. What matters to me the most is having peace within. Furthermore, being at home, I can control the environment here. Home does that for me. You know, sometimes people say, yeah, but when you retire, you need something to retire to, or you've got to find your purpose in retirement, or blah, blah, blah. You've heard it before. I kind of get that, but honestly, that has become one of the most overused phrases in retirement advice today. How about this? I spent 45 years working for other people, and I haven't had a summer break since I was a junior in high school. How about this? I did retire to something. It's called my personal freedom. And how about this? I did find my purpose in retirement. It's called having my personal freedom. And you know what? That's okay. It really is. If I may, if you're on the verge of retirement yourself, don't allow content creators to intimidate you or convince you that you need to retire to something and find your purpose in something, or come up with a bucket list that you need to devote your retirement years to checking items off that list. You don't need any of that. You don't need anything other than the excitement of knowing that you're now retired. And you know what? If you're excited about retirement, you know what? You're just going to figure it out on your own. You really are. Their advice notwithstanding, you have earned the right to do anything that you want to do. You've already done the hard work in your life. Now you can just enjoy yourself. Why would anyone want to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire is beyond me. Yeah, I did retire to something, and I did find my purpose in retirement. It's called having personal freedom and autonomy. That's what it is. And I get to stay home every day that I want to stay home, and I don't have to ask anybody's permission to stay in my own house. If you're on the verge of retirement, let me ask you a favor. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what it is that you are looking forward to the most about retirement. And if you are retired, why don't you leave a comment as well and tell the rest of us what it is that you enjoy about retirement the most. And I'll tell you something, I really do enjoy reading the comments that are left behind. 99% of them are uplifting and positive. But even beyond that, sometimes people will leave comments behind that are so insightful and offer a different perspective and are so unique. And I mean just really eye-opening, that they have a different perspective on things. And that's what I love about reading your comments. And I will tell you that I read almost all the comments, and I read all of them and try to respond to all of them, but sometimes I miss one every now and then. So, number one, I have autonomy. Number two, I get to stay home every single day and get out only whenever I choose to, and I don't have to ask some supervisor if I can stay in my own home today. It's fantastic. That's what that is. And then number three, this newfound freedom means that my mind and my thought life are just cleared up for personal pursuits. Now that I'm retired, my mind is no longer occupied, preoccupied, or filled up with work-related issues. And let me explain what I mean by that. When you're working for a company or working full-time, you're paid to do a certain job, and this requires a lot of mental energy on our part, right? I mean, there are projects that need your attention, assignments that you have to complete. You have to make decisions. There's problem-solving tasks that you're involved in, and there's a certain culture that you have to adhere to. Now, essentially, you're being told what to think, and your mind is occupied with a lot of work-related stuff. But here's the thing that most people miss. Even when you're not at work, your mind is still filled up with things about work. You're thinking about the daily commute back and forth, or packing your lunches for the week, or washing and ironing your clothes for work, all of which you're doing at home, or maybe swinging by the dry cleaners and picking up your clothes to work on your own personal time. And then, of course, you're answering emails and getting texts and taking phone calls after hours. What's more, you're not even being compensated for all of this mental energy that you're devoting to work, even though you're not at work. And so what I'm saying is, this headspace thing is a real thing. The mental energy that we devote to work is constant. To say that another way, all of that junk from work is living in your head rent-free 7 days a week, even after hours. And then, of course, there's work-related conflict that we carry around with us. You may clock out, but you're not leaving it all behind. You're taking some of it home with you, right? Well, you may not know it yet, but when you retire, that's a done deal. I said that is a done deal. It takes a little bit of time, a few weeks, maybe a couple months, but it takes a little bit of time for all of that junk in your mind to be purged, to percolate up to the top and expel itself. But it does happen, and trust me, when your mind is purged of all of that work-related junk and it's free, it is liberating. I will tell you this about myself. Now that I'm retired, I have space in my mind and mental energy that I can devote to things that I want to devote to. Things that I want to know about and things that I want to learn about. Because I no longer have to devote my mental energy to work-related tasks. When people ask me, Ron, now that you're retired, what are you doing with yourself? And my response to them is, all of those things that I couldn't do whenever I was working. That's what I'm doing. Listen, when I was working, my job took the best part of my mental energy every single day. And what I had left over for myself was exactly that, leftovers. This is why personal freedom makes my life better every single day. The point being, now that I'm free and my headspace is cleared up, I can allow my mind to wander wherever it wants to go. I can daydream about this and I can daydream about that. And I can devote myself to any pursuit under the sun. I could wake up one morning and say to myself, I think I would like to become bilingual and learn to speak the Spanish language. And guess what? I could go out and do it. Know why? Because I now have the mental energy to devote to a project like that. See what I mean? Or I could say to myself, I would like to start a YouTube channel. Oh yeah, I did that. For years I always wanted to do a YouTube channel, but there was no possible way that I could do it at work. When I came home at the end of the day, I was exhausted, I was done, I didn't have the energy to do what it is that I'm doing right now. But now that my headspace is cleared up, I can devote thinking and thought process to my YouTube channel. In other words, I now have complete ownership over my thought life. And this is probably one of the main reasons that retirement is so liberating and healthy for us, because of the mental state of mind that improves after we leave the toxic workplace environment. I'll say it again. What I love the most, the thing that makes my life better every single day, is the personal freedom that I now have. There is nothing like it. It affects me in every area of my life. The three main being, which I just shared with you, I now have autonomy, I can stay home as much as I want, and then number three, I have cleared up headspace. I'm going to close with this quote. Living out your remaining years in freedom is better than working longer than you have to earn more money, only to end up as the richest man in the cemetery. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for stopping by. Leave me a comment down below and feel free to subscribe. If you've enjoyed this channel, hit that thumbs up button and share this video with others who you think might benefit from it. That's all for now. I'm Ronnie. Take care, and we're going to see you next time.